Hey y'all, I'm live talking, not even talking. I hopped on here to share with y'all because I do a lot of talking to myself, but I'm doing ancestry research. I come from a blended family, a lot of play cousins. Peace, my love. A lot of play cousins, a lot of aunties and uncles that are not bloodline related, right? So when I do ancestral veneration, I definitely shout out my bloodline and my love line, the people that love me, and the people that help carry me through with love. But here lately, I have been being directed to dig deeper, and I do the bloodline research, but to dig deeper into my bloodline. And it gets intricate because the records aren't that good. The record keeping wasn't that good, and it was intentional. You know, when you come here when you come to a place and wage war and decide that you want to take what's there, steal their land, and you do it through a process of paperwork and confusion, it's intentional that the records aren't kept that well. So when I have to go through, like, I have right now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got like 12 tabs open right now because I got to compare this record, this census to this draft card to this, connect that address to this address. And this is just to like find parents, grandparents, my parents, because I done went far back, right? But my tree had holes in it, and now I get to patch the holes up because the further back you go, the more information can be found in between. So, but one thing for sure and two things for certain, the ancestors was fucking, and they wasn't always in-house fucking. It was a lot of this one got a, y'all know how it go. This one got a family over here and a family over here, and this one got these children with this particular person, but also got a baby in between with this particular person. It's a whole lot of that going on too, which makes it a little bit more difficult because marriage was the order of the day. And when you marry somebody in the record building process, when you marry somebody, those was the children that was counted. So children that were had outside of the marriage, you really got to do like a little more extra work to find them. But the work is definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it. And I noticed that if I go to my ancestors and I ask them to reveal to me the people that I'm looking for, this record is in years. Okay. The people that I'm looking for, they come. They come. So I was looking for my great-grandfather's mother and father, and I kept getting stopped at a cousin. So I had to get my little notes, my handy dandy notes. And of course, you know, got my electronics, but my handy dandy notes. So I had to take a census, a marriage record for, remember I said they was married to one person, but they was having babies with other person. So a marriage record to the draft card to a census. The census introduced me to a whole wife. Introduced me to a first wife, not even a first wife. The first wife took me back to another census, and that census is where I found the cousin from the draft card to put it all together, because the record keeping process was not for our benefit. Nothing these people do is for our benefit. Understand that. And this is bigger than black and white, honey. It's indigenous and it's original. not aboriginal. Aboriginal means to abhor the original. It's the indigenous people, the original people, and then the grafted people. So we grafted them people, and whatever we had them, whatever we created them for, we used. Somebody said this to me yesterday, and it did something to my heart. Whatever we used them people to do for us, to work for us, maybe slave around or whatever, but we didn't teach them anything. And we threw them to the wayside. We left them for dead. And we left them in the cold. We left them in harm's way. I'm going to get back to ancestry, but right now I want to speak to the ancient eras of our ways, because you can't start with the original man and woman and the original man and woman not be the reason why we are where we are. So we left them people for dead. We created a species. We did science to break them down to become what they are, right? And we left them for dead. We left them in cold and caves and mountains or whatever. And all they had to work on and focus on was how they was going to get back, how they was going to get us back, how they was going to get on top, right? And it might look like they're on top, but it's always a more on top. You understand? It's always more on top. It might look like they are in charge, and in a way, they do the work to keep us fucked up because we left them fucked up. You can't hate something that you never loved. And if we created them, they loved us as creators. And if the creator can just throw you away, that creates hate. Like how parents and children be at odds and the emotion be so strong because you cannot hate something that you never loved. So let us never forget that they work hard to keep us confused because we left the grafted. Yes, we left them for dead after we used them for whatever, because we created them for a reason. Things come into creation for a reason. So we used them for something and then we left them for dead. So they worked extra hard to keep us in confusion. And I said all of that to say the record keeping when they came to this land is intentionally fucked up. So we have to do the work. We have to connect. You want to hop on my live? Peace to the God. You want to hop on my live? But we have to do the work to connect the documents, because sometimes names are spelled wrong. Sometimes it's illegible, but yes. And they came back with a vengeance, because hurt people to make it simple. I know you know. So yeah. And so I just realized that yesterday, like, I always knew we made this mess, but I never looked at it from the perspective of the enemy. And from that I got a whole new something to, like, I really got to sit with that. I got to build on that with myself, because the divisiveness, the black-white divisiveness is spiritual. It's spiritual and it's long-standing. And they are new here. We've been here longer than them, but they're new here because we put them here. We made them. And we made them and we fucked them around. And now we coming up out of it, but we had to get the fuck around too. You know what I'm saying? What goes around comes around. And we on the back, we coming back around. But you got to know your enemy the way your enemy know you. And they know us because, like I said, we made them. We created them. They know us, and we need to know who we're dealing with. We need to get back to that. And don't sleep on them. But just like they use us to accomplish their goals and means, we need to be able to do the same thing. And that's what I do here. That's what I'm doing here. So I do the ancestry. I use Ancestry.com. I use the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I use newspaper.com, cemetery.com. It's all the .coms. But I have never sent my DNA to these people, because you don't have to. You just got to do the work. I went to where my people was from, though. And I went to their genealogy department to get to find more information about my bloodline. What was I saying? To find more information about my bloodline. So like they use us, we have to use them. And they got things in place that it's records of all kinds. You wouldn't believe it's records of our bloodline. It's records of people. So what happened was they would come here, whoever, Europeans, whatever. They would leave. They would go get their families. They would come back in droves. They were the millions of people, the thousands of people that was coming here on boats. But when they came through Ellis Island, they were registered as Native Americans. So that was one of the earlier tricks of the paperwork, re-registering those people. That the transatlantic slave trade or whatever, that's cute. It's cute, but it's very, very far-fetched. It's easier because confusion, because they study us, because they see how we move, because we created them, they know how we move, and we need to know how they move too, and not be so hyper empathetic. But I said that to say, it's easier to get a boat, round up some people, think they're going to do some work in Jamaica, take them to Jamaica. When they get off the boat, whatever that transaction looks like there, get some more people from Barbados, bring them to Massachusetts or whatever the fuck. And then, yeah, but it wasn't millions of people. Like, no fucking way. All the stories are true. All the stories are true. It's just at scale. We have to scale them down, and we cannot give these people as much credit as we have been. We are giving them way too much motherfucking credit. So yeah, but that's what I'm doing. Going through the records of my ancestors, tightening up my family tree, and seeing how much fucking was going on. How much house hopping was going on. See how much putting a name on a birth certificate was going on because of the way things were perceived. Like, I'm going to attribute some of it to like Christianity and just like social politics. That's facts. I sometimes get caught up with what to direct my energy to. It's so many causes, it's so many things, and I used to feel like I was going to be a martyr for the people, but I don't want to be a martyr for the people. I just want to do good. I want to do good within my home. I want to do good within my community and branch out that way. It's so many things that I want to advocate for and so many causes that I want to be a part of, but I really feel like I would run myself ragged. It's millions of black people, but it's millions of children missing, and they go, I feel like it's like a lottery, like a state to state lottery for where they're going to traffic people from. And I feel like Philadelphia right now, we are at the top of the lottery. Like, I want to say last year or the year before, it was like all these children were getting missing from Ohio. Now it's all these children getting missing from Philadelphia. And before that, everywhere gets hit, but it's like certain times where it's a greater number of disappearances happening. So yeah, be hyper vigilant about the babies. Be hyper vigilant about our bodies, because our bodies are sacred. We got something in us that everybody don't got. You know what I'm saying? And it's very valuable. It's more valuable than whatever price they put on precious metals and oils and minerals and things like that. But yeah, the ancestors was fucking. I'm gonna continue to be a healing voice for the Divine Mother. And not stretch myself too. Definitely gonna continue to do this work for the people, because I love the people and the people love me. Thank you. So yeah, now I'm in another census, connecting these last few dots for my great-grandfather so I can have his parents on the tree with the right name. the right name and the right year. And I also, when I get these addresses, because most of on my mom and dad, my biological dad, my mom and my biological dad are from the same small area. It's like a borderline between Virginia and North Carolina, where the Catawba Creek Indians were, or and were, because I've been there. But I can go there, and I do. I have, and I will again. I go there. I pour libations. I spend time at ancestral land, and that's one of the ways I connect with my ancestors also, so that I can do this work. What they say, many are called, but few are chosen. So when we get that call and we put that work in, then we can be chosen. You got to answer the call and do the work in order to be a chosen one. I keep saying chosen one's this and chosen one's that. Who told you was the chosen one? You got the call, but is you doing the work to be a chosen one? Or are you just on here spewing information? It's a lot of opportunity for to be full of shit on the internet. Get on here and paint a picture like this is what's happening, but are you really doing the work? Are you really sitting at the altar? Are you really going out here and connecting with real people in real time and creating ways and means of uplifting and empowerment for the people? Sometimes I feel like I'm not doing as much as I could be doing, and then I'm reminded that I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, because this is what I'm doing. But I don't just talk about it. This talking about it is new, because spirituality is so private and personal and intimate, and stepping away from structured religion and choosing a side not being lukewarm in our spirituality is that's a work in and of itself. Being able to not defend the truth. Peace to the God.
Peace, God. How you?
I'm great. How are you?
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine. What was I getting ready to say? What was I saying before you graced the screen with your presence? I appreciate that. Oh, doing the work. Being about it, not talking about it, and knowing what it is that you're supposed to do. And many are called and few are chosen. And there's a lot of people out here saying they're the chosen ones. But what are you doing to solidify your spot as a chosen one, or to be chosen? That's all.
And who are you to be chosen?
Who am I? I'm the
Not you
ancestor.
per se. I'm saying the
Oh,
people. Like, yeah, the
right.
people. Like, what are you doing? Right. To to be chosen.
Exactly. That's what I was speaking to. What are you doing?
Yeah, you here. You in existence. What are you doing with your existence? What are you doing with your time in the physical world? So you were chosen.
Yeah.
And you were chosen to do that. And that charge is supposed to come from your family. Someone in your family, someone in your lineage, someone in your ancestral lineage, someone in your spiritual lineage. That's where your spirit guides come from. But your ancestral lineage, your family, you ascend and descend back into your family line. So you incarnate and you transition back into your ancestral line. Then it becomes your responsibility. So your ancestral mitochondrial DNA, Divine Mother, goes back, trillions of years. Like there's nothing to carbon date it from. You know what I'm saying? Like they might go back to the earliest recesses of the universe and still can't find your origin. So when you start thinking about things that come after, our ancestors foretold us about a time such as now that we would fall from grace, right?
Yes.
If you look in Genesis 1, for instance, because Genesis 1 describes their grafting process. You see what I'm saying? And who was created to be able to charge of them, and that's who they descended from. So you go in Genesis 1, everything is good. By the time you get to Genesis 6, the sons of God seeing the daughters of men and they were fair describes a time period in history. It's not just allegory alone. There are some people that existed in North Africa that were dissatisfied about being under this matrilineal, matriarchal rule and sought to betray the divine mothers in the way that they did. And this is how we fell from grace. So the sons of God seeing the daughters of men, and they were fair. The sons of God, who was God?
Right.
Who gives birth to sons? How does that process happen? How do you become a son? Right? You see what I'm saying? So they talk this God he situation away from God she. So now it's he. So now they're saying that they came from he. So this is why folks are saying you are the seed of your father.
Mm-hmm.
How do babies come into it? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
So how does one become father and how does one become son? So if the sons of God seen the daughters of men, they were fair, that means that they were an amalgamation in word and in deed. So it showed up in their complexion. You see what I'm saying? So now you go after their ways. You see their ways. Their ways become fair to you because of your dissatisfaction with who you are, the sons of God. So you devolve from the sons of God because you see the daughters of man, that mankind thing that exists between the span of 10,000 and 6,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's their genesis. You understand? So our ancients are telling them about how these things came into being. So when you come in contact with this new thing that was made, don't interact with them, don't intermingle with them, because it's going to bring about your destruction. So this particular group of the sons of God, seeing the daughters of man, and they were fair and took wives from them all that they chose. So who is these people that came from Northern Africa and they end up in the Caucasus? They went and found them from the caves after we ousted them out of the Garden of Eden.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So now this is the space. So when you start talking about the fall of man, the first betrayal is us falling away from our God, falling away from honoring the divine mother from which the womb we came from, and seeking after those things that takes us out of the fold of God, right?
Yes.
So until that repair is done, we continue to fall. So this is why I got upset about the Woman King movie. You're all these cats up in arms about that. They're like, oh, that's BS, blah, blah, blah. All right, so let's go to the most patriarchal society on the planet. Azania, misnomer as South Africa. The king of kings, Kozi Amakosi, his name was Shaka Zulu. His mother's name was Nandi.
Mm-hmm. Queen Nandi.
That was the woman king dynamic in the most patriarchal, patrilineal society on the planet. Shaka Zulu, after the death of his mother, said, we in mourning for a year. The queen mother was like, all right, yeah, we in mourning for a year, blah, blah, blah. They was with him until he said no children will be born in a year. They said, oh, hell no, he got to go. This is the king of kings. This is the patrilineal and patriarchal society. Patrilineal means you become king by way of your father. Patriarchal means the men make the majority of the decisions in the society. The women said, you got to go, fam. No children for a year? He like, the British are coming. Let me help you fight the British. Now we'll take care of it. Did Shaka say, no, I'm the king? No, I'm the king of kings? He said, oh, all right. And he died with honor because of that. So now, what do they show you in the miniseries? Something completely opposite, but also being true to the history at the same time. You see him throw off his robes, and in ceremonial combat, he's taken out. So they gave something cinematic, but they gave you some trick knowledge at the same time, just like you was building on, God. Until we address this fall of us falling away from one who empowered us to give us the throne, to give us dominion, and all of these things, that we again turn to these amalgamated things that we made in this lab and gave them dominion. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? So that's the process in the transference of power. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at it in that way, it's like we already fell away, and then in our fallen state, we gave away some of our birthright in that space. You know what I'm saying? So looking at it in regards to that, so when we look at it now, we see this influx of infighting back and forth in regards to it. To thine own self be true. Whatever your cultural narrative is telling you, it's correct, and that's for you to operate in, but it ain't for the collective. You see what I'm saying? So the collective has to return to principal unity. Principal unity looks like, okay, this is our cosmology. We unify on the cosmology and these principles, and we build community together over here. Back to in the space with people are moving within their best interest for their future, because this is how they're living. But for those who are in tune and wanting to get back into the righteous remembrance of God, there's some atonement that has to happen.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
There's some atonement that has to happen. And, the dark mothers are rising. So you're going to rise with the mothers, or you're going to fall? You're going to fall again? You understand what I'm saying? You're going to
Yes.
fall again? Or what are you going to do? So that belongs to the earth, that belongs to Mother Nature, that belongs to, our ancestry, that belongs to our bloodline, that belongs to all of these pathways where we're cutting ourselves off with statements like we're not our ancestors and all this other extra stuff that we're doing.
Yeah.
That's a reflection of ones who don't honor anything because they don't know their origin in this world.
Yeah, it's that part. When you don't know, when you feel like you come from nothing and you don't know where you come from and or who you come from, then that it leaves it creates apathy
Mm-hmm.
and a desire to want to belong to something makes us cling to what feels true but is not.
Right.
Like what feels good to the spirit, what feels good in the moment, opportunities for fellowship, even if what you are being told is half truths.
Right.
So I used to be that person. I used to be like, I used to cry. I want some roots. I want to know where I'm from. And then one day I was like, so why you can't know?
Right.
Like your mom told you this much, so you take what you got and you run with it. You know what I'm saying? Like really, I I am our people, a lot of our people gotta shake that fear. It's the fear of not being able to go to heaven, the fear of possibly going to hell,
Mm-hmm.
keeping themselves in a perpetual state of hell on earth because they're waiting for a heaven later.
Right.
Ain't nobody coming to save us. Jesus is already risen in you. And that's
Right.
what it is. Like you got to save yourself. And the best way for me, the best thing for me to do is dig into my ancestry so I know the people I come from, so I know what to pour into the people that come from me, so that I can be, so that we can heal. People always say, oh, generational trauma and generational, break the curse then. Break the curse. That's what we're here for. What a time to be alive. Where you can, nobody can stop us from getting this information. Nobody can stop us from standing on what it is that we know, because you fucking know. We can believe whatever you fucking know. I know. I knew the first time I heard ancestral veneration, like, oh, that's for me.
Right.
And I was in church, but
Right.
that's for me. And I'll figure out the rest later. It's never not a reason to big up your ancestors. It's never not a reason to want to know more. It's never not a reason to say their names. Like just, and those are the small things that help get us through.
Right.
People out here talking about we not our ancestors, and in the same breath we're living off the prayers of our grandmoms. Pick one.
100.
Pick one. Either you is
100%.
her or you ain't her.
Right. Yeah. Don't tell me about Jesus if you can't tell me about your
That
grandmama.
part.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
In the Bible, it says, "How do you worship a God you can't see and don't acknowledge your brother you see every day?" Stop playing. Like it's there. Like our ancestors wrote the books. I don't argue with nobody about
Right.
that. So when you start looking at it, you see it. Our Father who art in heaven. Our Father. You telling me about an ancestor?
Right.
You telling me about an
Right.
ancestor, and you praying in your ancestor's name? Like, all right. So you like, in this name, in his name, hallowed be thy name, holy is thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So we're connecting the worlds from beyond the veil. We're asking for divine intervention or intercession in our affairs from a world we can't see.
Right.
You understand
Right.
what I'm saying? They like y'all offering sacrifices. Didn't y'all just have Passover, fam? Like, what did y'all offer? What are we discussing? So I know that these things are true because I can point to these stories. I know how we speak. I know how we interact with one another. The same way we interact with one another now, we did then. So I can hear the colloquialism. Do you understand what I'm saying? So now, are we honoring our mother and father?
Right.
Honor thy mother and thy father. So you don't have to tell people a thing that they know. They're not rules for people who know. It's rules for people who don't know. Hey, when you come in my house, you better take them damn shoes off.
Period.
You understand? So that's how you know that you're not of that house. Like, this is not you. You want to be like the worst people in history. You want to cleave up to the worst kind of it in history and, say that that's the way. But you see that in yourself because that's how you see yourself. So when you see yourself in that perpetual state of degradation and degeneracy, then you're okay with calling yourself this or that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm cool. I'm gonna ask my auntie. I understand what I'm saying? God don't got rent. God don't got mortgage. My auntie had rent and mortgage. You know what I'm saying? My uncle knew how to hit the number. You understand what
Right.
I'm saying? So I'm gonna holler at my cousin who knew how to make tuna fish last for a month. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have those things, and that's the reason why knowing and learning your ancestors' name and what they likes and dislikes was, because you have a collective support from. So you ain't bothering God about that dice game where you lost the rent money at the casino. You understand what I'm
Right.
saying? So now when you asking for God to intervene in your life, he or she might take that from you, and it might cost you something more egregious than it would have. You know what I'm saying? Asking one of your homies that left because they still love you, they still mess with you. You see what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, that concept of tapping into divine power and looking at divine intervention, but you're not prepared to do what's necessary to go with that part.
Mm.
So even if you offering something, you offering an animal, or you offering this, or you offering that, you really offering you. You offering you to that service. You see what I'm saying? So are you prepared to do that? So in order to be something you've never been, they say that quote, you have to become something you've never been. You know what I'm saying? To live the life that you always wanted to live, you have to become something that you've never been. Because wherever you are, you have to rise. You have to ascend. You have to do something different than what you've been doing in order to become something that you've never been. You know what I mean? So, in regards to that, if we want to continue to ascend, we have to put ourselves in the best proper position to be able to receive the win. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing like losing all this time and you win. You like, that's foreign. You understand what
Yes.
I'm saying? Like, if you in a perpetual state of losing, you you don't recognize the win. You'll look at it as another loss, and you won't change the trajectory. But if you could recognize that and say, "Oh, okay, this is what winning looks like. Let's go do it."
Mm-hmm.
So when you had me on before about the books, that's what it was. I'm showing young people wins. So this is what a win looks like. It don't have to necessarily be a win for you, but an example. You can look at some people and say, okay, this is a blueprint I can utilize and strategize and then add my own, particular space to it to be in a position
Right.
to win.
When we see it, it's easier when you see it to do anything, like just having something to go off of. The book series is amazing, and young people need that. They need to be able to have that divine reflection. and have it in a way where it's no pressure. Like, have the information and not have the pressure of having to answer somebody or go behind somebody, or you know what I'm saying. So I do like that, the access to information. I was gonna say, I've been telling people, like, ancestry is infinite. Like the examples, for example, the examples in the book, because ancestry is infinite. If you are here, you have always been here, and we are all interconnected in the all. So they are our ancestors. Like I say, this picture right here, those are our ancestors. That also over there, those are my ancestors. But at the end of the day, they are all of our ancestors, and they all desire for us to elevate. Even the ones that was here on some fuck shit, they desire for us to elevate. So yeah. And
Sometimes you need a good example of a bad example. You see what I'm saying? So, my drunk ass cousin, you know what I'm saying, that was faded all the time. It's like, all right, now I don't get too faded because I remember my drunk ass cousins. That's a lesson.
that's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? That's a blessing because they're calling it crash out now. You don't want to be in that crash dummy seat. You know what I'm saying? That we grew up watching.
Right.
You've seen all these examples, so you might get a good example of a bad example. You might be a tyrant. You might be somebody with poor character. You might be somebody that mismanages money all the time. You hear as a reason. Somebody's always watching. They're like, no, that's not it. You see what I'm saying? So like, all right, I learned a lesson from that. So these things that were grafted and made, these mankind that's walking around shows you some of the treachery that you're capable of. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So for you to learn, like, I'm not doing that like that. So that other part of your nature that exists, these two things exist inside of you. This righteousness exists. Here go this other thing. Which one are you going to do based off of it? So it's outside of you because it's inside of you. You know what I'm saying? So which one are you feeding? Are you feeding the wickedness in you, or are you feeding the righteousness in you? So wickedness can be controlled by vice. So when you look at Barabbas or Jesus, the people was like, Barabbas. You see what I'm saying? They were like, but Barabbas is a bad dude. They're like, nah, we can control Barabbas with vice. The righteous you can't control. You see what I'm saying? So you look at the righteous. Oh, what we gonna do with the righteous? Oh, kill him, crucify him. You understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So, yeah.
because that's the
So
spark.
even when you put that at the behest, you already knew what the people was going to do. He's like, all right, my hands is clean from this. I'm gonna let the people decide. I'm gonna move out the way. I don't find no fault in him, but I can't just let him go. You see what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
I can't find no fault in her. I can't just let her go. So when you left it to the people's own devices, they speak to their own wickedness or their own righteousness.
Up on wickedness and righteousness, right? Because they both exist within.
Yeah.
We can also, we could work to a place of harmony. You
Mm-hmm.
can have your light and your dark, and it can
Right.
be harmonious, and it can work for best outcomes. It doesn't always have to turn into chaos. Like, just knowing where and how to and it goes back to ancestry, knowing who you come from,
Right.
not necessarily where you come from. Where you come from is cool, but once you know
Mm-hmm.
who you come from, you can figure out where you come from,
Right.
and
Right.
knowing how to have that balance so that you can use your light and use your dark. It's not always rainbows and butterflies out here. So
Right.
just being knowing, having the harmony within, not being afraid of, what is wicked or what. I've been hearing this word a lot lately. Demonic, satanic. Say, I fucking hate that shit.
I
Like,
love it.
just
It's an
own your shit. Like, own it.
yeah.
See, it is energies and entities that are out here that seek to destroy, and they hop from person to person to person. But if we be up on top of the things that we need to be up on top of for self, that shit is
Right.
really almost like 99.789% a non-factor. Do
Right.
your protection work. Make sure that you got you're covered. Be doing what you're supposed to be doing when you're supposed to be doing it. Be in the right place at the right time, as opposed to the wrong place at the wrong time. Just those little things that can protect us, and we don't have to lean so much into passing blame to demonic and satanic. Like, the fuck out of here. If you God, then you everything. And if you
Right.
everything, then you got a little bit of Lucifer and a little bit of Jesus.
Yeah.
So find the harmony.
It's the same. It's the same. We didn't make the distinction before. So because you overindulgent, right? Shout out to Taurus. It's Taurus season,
Yeah.
right? The season of overindulgence. You understand what I'm saying? So everybody is overindulging right now, based off of that indulgence. So that's a part of perfection. So when you look at wickedness versus righteousness, it's interpretive. You see what I'm saying? They say one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist. You see what I'm saying? That's interpretive. So how you interpret it. When you are out of balance, it brings about something that comes into existence to get you back in balance. You see what I'm saying? So
Yes.
if you over here bugging, now that the essence of God, that's the corrector, brings you back. When you make a declaration saying, hey, you know what? I ain't smoking cigarettes no more. The reason why you smoking cigarettes exacerbates 1,000-fold. It don't get less, it gets more,
Yes.
because it's a testing mechanism to see if you're going to stand true to your word. Now, if those circumstances hit you and you don't smoke, you ain't never smoking again. That's what
Facts.
you call devil. That's what you call demonic
Facts.
forces. They're the same forces. It's the same force. It's just flipped on another side for you to be able to see the divine from within. Jesus saying, tell Satan, get up out of here. He said, get behind me. Go back to your position, fam. Like,
Mm-hmm.
get your ass up out of here. You understand? Stop trying to get in the front. Go back over there. So with Heru and Sutesh, the uncle and the nephew, the two halves are the same. You see what I'm saying? So the two-headed bird that's in both directions,
Mm-hmm.
this way, that way, they're connected. They're family. You understand what I'm saying? So they're family. They're from the same family. So this is a mighty force that's there that acts as a force to test you. There's a disciplining force that's even further. So you rather take this way than take the way that's further. You see what I'm saying? So
Yes.
it's fed, the chaos, the calamity is a reflective of the things that's going on inside. So how you gonna win if you ain't right within? Shout out to Lauren Hill. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
how you gonna win if you ain't right within? So the reflection is how you're seeing this in your mind, because all is mental, right?
That's
And then that first universal principle is self-preservation. You can't preserve yourself if your mind is not quiet. You know what I'm saying? So when you're dealing with that, your mind is a womb. You
facts.
understand? Your mind is a
Facts.
womb. So how you don't have reverential awe for the womb that gave you birth, the womb that gave you mind, the womb that gave you head. So your body is constructed like a pyramid from the top down. You
Mm-hmm.
understand?
Yes.
So your head is the first thing that begins to form. And the proof of life is in your heart, your other womb right here. You understand what I'm saying? And then your gut, your other womb right here. So you got the Holy Trinity on your body, and you don't give no reverence to your mother. You in error out here walking. You exist on the earth, which is a womb. What's in the universe, which is a womb. You understand what I'm
So
saying? The triple darkness of the womb is
yes.
how God is created. This is where God comes from, that womb. You understand what I'm saying? So now, if you want to be God, you want to be king, you want to be man, you want to be whatever you want to, design yourself as or style yourself as, you come from a womb. Where is your womb reverence? You exist on the womb. Where is your womb reverence? Where is your relationship with the womb that bore you? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So we have to seek that reference. Even the Muslim, when they say, I seek refuge from with the law from the accursed shaitan, that's a womb. Muhammad found out he was a prophet in the cave. He was in the womb of the cave meditating, and the angel Gabriel came to him. Where did he go? He went back to his wife Khadijah and said, "Yo, I'm tripping. I think I saw a demon." She like, "Shut up. Let's go see my cousin." And the cousin is like, "Yo, you a prophet." He's like, "What's that?" You understand what I'm saying? So if he didn't go back to that womb with that womb reverence, that womb that gave him birth and light and credence for him to be a trusted man in the community, we wouldn't have no Muhammad of 1,400 years ago. Not in the name where we would know. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So again, there are too many instances throughout, our sojourn and journey that we can point to womb. But I can tell you the consequences of ancestral neglect. You talked about reverence and veneration. Now, what about neglect?
Talk about it. And
So
I'm
the
here.
consequences. Look, the consequences of ancestral neglect bring about these generational curses that you're talking about. You ever been somewhere where you were ignored and you cut off? What does that mean for you? What you gonna do? You gonna act
Yeah.
out? You see what I'm saying? You gonna
How
act
about
out.
that?
When you look at kindergarten, when you look at Head Start, all of that comes from Nazi Germany. They were trying to make as many child soldiers as they possibly could. So they went through psycho-spiritual experiments to see what would happen with these young German babies, the ones they gave care to and the ones they just left alone. The ones that they left alone, they died off. You understand what I'm saying? So they had to have that nature versus nurture discussion based off of their own experimentation with them building up child soldiers, right? So you have the right amount of nature versus nurture. That's balance, right? We put that together. So the consequences of ancestral neglect comes in the same kind of way. When you ignore your thoughts and ignore those inclinations towards success or goal attainment, and then you see somebody else doing it, you're like, man, I was supposed to do that. It ain't gonna stay with you. It's gonna go where it's gonna be used. So we had a spot where it was prophesied that we would forget who we are and where we came
Right.
from. So what's the point for them? They keeping the records. They
Right.
keeping the records. So when you go look now, you could look in the records, but you're supposed to use the spirit of discernment. You see what I'm saying? So when you go and you look at the records now, you like, oh, all right, this is this or this is that or whatever it is. But if you just giving up your genetics, they study your genetics to learn how to modify your genetics. So when you went and got that shot, they modified your damn genetics. They took away from what it was. You know, everybody's talking about that Sinners movie. You know what I'm saying? And they like, oh, that movie Sinners. Oh, that was deep. That was deep. Now, no, the Queen Mother said, yo, you're not about to get access to me. If I turn before I turn into one of these things, you better
Right.
take me up out of here. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're not getting access to this mitochondrial DNA. You're not getting access to this because once you locked in and you put yourself in a space of servitude, you have to behest of somebody who got all kind of access to you, and that's not it. You go back to they clone Tyrone, they made you saw all of those grafted copies of all of those things. They were easy to make. You know what you ain't see? No copy of that original woman right there. You ain't see no copy of her. And the scientist said she ain't worth nothing. She worth everything. The whole community came out there for her. You understand?
Oh, they
So
know.
and
They know.
she was the copy to break the cycle, and the voice of his mother was the only reason why he was doing what he was doing. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at that all together, they doing these things to show you, okay, this is what it is. But no matter what you do, you can't copy this original. You can't copy this original. Everything else you can make a copy of because they'll subject themselves to whatever, but not this one right here. You can't do it. I don't care how much surgery your ass go get or whatever the hell you do. You can't make this right here. You can't make this because you're not the maker. You're not the maker. You're not the owner. You are the made and the owned. You see what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
So all that stuff works together in that regard. So we gotta, return to the real and stop playing out here. We gotta be able to atone. We gotta be able to say, "Look, Mama, I messed up." You understand what I'm
Yes.
saying? And take what come along with it and begin to reconcile, to heal our relationship with nature, to heal our relationship with Mother Nature, to heal our relationship with Mother Earth. Heal and come back. You see what I'm saying? And come on back home to the real because the kingdom of God is at hand. And you don't want to be on the side of that ass whooping that's continuing to come to the planet because of the judgment,
And it's
because of the neglect.
and
So
we can
back to
see it.
that.
We can
Right.
see it for people that are just watching at a on a surface, a superficial level. You can see it in the bickering and back and forth. You can see it in the how women how the black man and black woman appear to be at odds. We're not at odds. I need y'all to know that we're not at odds. We're working together for our ascension. But on a certain, you can see also a reckoning happening. Like in order for the feminine to rise, the masculine has to. We got to meet at this place of harmony. So it's gonna be tumultuous. There's gonna be ups and downs. It's gonna be peaks and it's going to be valleys, but we can push through this. But y'all got to respect the mother straight like that. It ain't no other way to it. We did it the Our Father way, and look at where we at. We got to get back to the natural world order of things. This new world order agenda, that's when they got here. When they got here, whatever that was, 1400, blah blah blah. That's when this new world order agenda happened. So in order for us to break that and get back to the natural world order, the way things are supposed to be, especially for us, because fuck what everybody else got going on, there is going to be a parting of ways. For us, we got to get back to the natural way of things, and that means that all of us, men and women, have to find that place of reverence for the mother, for the womb, the great cosmic womb that brought us here, the creator of all creation, the creator that created this perpetual creation. Not Yahweh. Yahweh cool. He do what he do for y'all, what he do. But the creator of perpetual creation, how this got started, the great cosmic womb of creation. What you call it, triple darkness? I call it primordial water, where we all birthed from. Put some respect on it. Put some respect on all the pussies in all the places.
God. Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's what I got. My phone finna die. I appreciate you though. I gotta find my charger.
Word. Okay.
Thank you for joining me.
Peace.
Peace, love. All right, I gotta find a charger. Damn, that was good.